Greetings everybody and Happy New Year. I wanted to review 2018 with you. I want to also give a shout out to China Teacher because he gave me this idea for this format and to review everything I've done in the last year here at Walkabout Rojo. I'm very proud of the work I've done all year long on my channel. It takes an awful lot of work to do the videoing and the editing and stuff, but it is so much fun to create these videos and then put them out there for everyone to see. I have published over 127 videos, including this one, during the year, and every one of them has been fun to produce. They've been fun to shoot, they've been fun to edit, and they've been fun to talk to you about. I was hoping by the end of the year to get to 1,000 subscribers. I didn't quite get to that goal. I'm between 800 and 900 right now. I was going through analytics and here are some numbers. In 2018, I had 385,000 watch time minutes. That's amazing. With over 122,000 views. Wow. 550 new subscribers. Thank you everyone. Welcome. With over 1.5 million impressions. That's insane. I never thought it would ever get that big, and it's growing, and it grows faster and faster every month. As far as how people find my content, 40% of it comes from Google, and about 10% comes from my Facebook page. If you haven't already, go ahead and like my Facebook page, Walkabout Rojo. On there, I post photos. You'll be able to get a sneak peek into what's coming up next. Now, in January, I didn't publish any videos because a couple months prior to that, I took a break from the YouTube game because a couple things happened in my personal life that kind of scared me a little bit. And I basically did a video that was my last vlog, and I didn't know if I was going to come back. Basically just did it for my friends and family back home. You know, a way of talking to them. I pretend like it's my mom and pop on the other end of this video. And I need to avoid a certain amount of attention that a YouTube channel can bring to a person. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'll just post this and a week later miss it. It's a wonderful hobby. I have a lot to look forward to over the next year. So, peace out, y'all. I needed to reevaluate what I was doing and why I was doing it. I'm still to this day, a very private guy. And to put myself out there is a challenge every week to share my life. This isn't easy for me. During this time, I was concentrating mostly. During this time, I was concentrating mostly on work. Going to a new office, I really had to put a lot of effort into adapting to that office and making the necessary changes needed to make that office thrive and me to thrive in that environment. But even then, I was beginning to miss it. And I couldn't wait to get back into the game. But I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do it. And I posted some things here and there. In February is when I started really missing YouTube and kind of got back into the game. And I did 6 videos. I had the Spring Festival holiday where I went to the Philippines, Cebu Island. And it was my first time in the Philippines, and I was exploring. Now, I only did 2 videos, one for the hotel I was staying at, and another 3-minute video of, you know, waterfalls and whale sharks. It's really cool. The visibility is terrible out there, but it is beautiful. These sharks are huge, and they swim right up to you. You can get out and swim around. It's amazing. So gorgeous. They say that the iPhone 7 is waterproof. We're finding out right now. That trip, but I had so many amazing experiences that I did not document, that I did not film. You know, looking back on it, it was an opportunity that I should have taken advantage of, and I didn't. That kind of was a catalyst for me to get back into the game. In March, I did another 6 videos. During this time, I visited my very first Chinese car show, and I've noticed that many of my most successful videos are about Chinese cars, and there's not very much information on YouTube, or for that matter, on the internet in English about Chinese cars. I've looked for it because it's an interest of mine, and it seems to be an interest for all of you too. want me to do more content about cars here in China, because it's a huge market. I mean, if I look at all the information about cars, it's all in Chinese, and I can understand some of it, but as far as the quirks and the features and the technology and the history of these cars and the manufacturers, that is something I can do more research on and make more videos on. Let me know if that's something you want to see for future content. I enjoy making those videos because I think it's interesting. April is when I started getting back into it. In April, I published 13 videos. This is a time when I had left Zhongshan and I was living in Shenzhen for 1 month. I was living in Futian, which is kind of the glitzy, glamoury area of Shenzhen, and I was doing the CELTA training. It was a very intensive course, and all I did was work on that course. I made a couple of videos about it. It seems like it's overwhelming, but if you stay organized, it won't be so bad. But one of my favorite videos was just me going for a run in Shenzhen Central Park one night. You're crazy, you got lesson planning and you got the big city and lots of people and living life on a subway and living in a hotel and eating shitty food. To be able to step away from that and go for a nice run in a beautiful park at night, and in Shenzhen the parks all kind of connect with one another and you can go up into the mountains, you have some mountain parks.
So I'm in a really cool part of this park. It's like a little valley that goes between two peaks, goes straight through it, and as you can see, it's lit. And, yeah, it's about 10 o'clock at night. I'm the only one here. All kinds of strange noises from the animals. It's really kind of cool. It's amazing that this is right in the center of the city. I mean, I feel like I'm a world away.
It was a wonderful couple of hours I spent in the middle of the night, all by myself, listening to music and spilling my guts to the camera. In May, I published 11 videos total. I returned to Zhongshan, kind of came back to everyday life. I had all this new knowledge and all these new techniques that I can implement into my classroom. But I wasn't back in Zhongshan for very long because I had to go back to America for my brother's wedding. I did a couple of videos back home in California, including a road trip up the Central Coast to a small town called Cayucas.
Alright, I just put off the side of the road real quick, just because I needed a break. I've been driving too long. I'm just outside of Bueller, California. Behind me is Morro Rock.
It was a great moment of counterculture shock, you know, coming from China, which is just craziness as far as people and things going on, lots of energy and lots of noise, to the serenity of the Central Coast. But to go back and see a very traditional American country wedding. I'm talking Stetson hats, cowboy boots, horses, country music, steak, even rifles. My brother gave rifles to all of his groomsmen as a gift. And when I came back to China and I told my friends, yeah, that was the gift that my brother gave to the groomsmen, they went, what? They gave guns? I'm like, of course they did. It's America.
Good riders? But I'm gonna shoot my eye out. Ferguson? I'm already gonna start crying.
I published another 11 videos, but it was mostly about my daily life here in Zhongshan. I went swimming, I explored businesses, I went to a wedding, I joined the dragon boat team. This was also a moment where, you know, there was the beginning of the rainy season, and I recall I was trying to get from one side of Zhongshan to the other, and the city was completely flooded. I posted another 11 videos. One of the things I wanted to do for my birthday was go to the Changlong Water Park, which is one of the largest water parks in the world. And it was a great time. I had a blast. We stayed late into the night and saw this great light show, amazing water rides, pretty good food. event that happened was I announced that I am staying in China for a long time. I interviewed, I did demo classes, and I accepted the position here at the college, which was a very hard choice for me to make. I had to really evaluate my life, what I wanted to do in the next few years. It was a very definitive moment in my adventure.
I have some news, good news. I'm going to be staying in China for a long time.
Unbelievable. So not only is it more money, but it's less work and tons of time off. So I'm gonna have the time and the resources to really finally explore China.
In August, I posted 16 videos. This was a moment where I could, give a little bit more information about my work life and where I was going, and more opinion and news stories about what's happening in China. I did a tour of a Metten center.
So many people have been asking me, Paul, what company do you work for? I work for this company, Metten, called Meilian in Chinese.
Americans truly understand China. It was a great video that I did.
While trade balances and import tariffs might be highly controversial and fiercely contested, this intellectual imbalance has no significant opposition within the US. China's door is open, but few Americans will venture through. I agree. The company also selected a misguided translation of its name in Mandarin. I wonder what that is. What is the translation? I don't know. Airbnb translated in Mandarin? I don't know.
And I also experienced my second e-bike accident. It wasn't a big accident, but I got hurt pretty good.
This raspberry has been healing just fine. A little bit on my wrist there too. However, take a look at my leg.
It took me a long time to recover from that accident. And that's when I started to really evaluate our e-bike safe. Is it something that I want to continue to do in the future?
Again, all of my favorite videos and some of the videos that I am referencing, I'm going to link down below so you can watch them.
In September, I posted 20 videos. It was by far my busiest month. September is where I really stepped up my game as far as the vlogging goes. I started the month leaving my job and moving to the college. And then soon after that, I went on a true walkabout. One of the greatest trips I've ever taken in my life. Better footage and incorporating some music.
On this trip, I traveled 5,400 kilometers. That's about 3,355 miles. I looked it up. I visited 9 cities, 2 forests, a ton of national parks, Disneyland, met some great people, ate a lot of really amazing food, and walked countless miles through all of this.
I started off here in Zhongshan, went to Guangzhou, Changsha, Zhangjiajie, Wulingyuan, and Zhangjiajie National Park. Then I went to Fenghuang, Chongqing, Shanghai, and Disneyland, down to Xiamen, and then back to Guangzhou and Zhongshan. So a big loop. And on the trains the complete time. I have made a special playlist on my channel about that trip. I posted 13 videos. In October, I started teaching my first couple lessons at the college.
On my way to teach my first class at the college.
In addition, I also included a trip back to America to see my family. One of my favorite videos from October was a walkabout I did of Joshua Tree National Park. It's not an exciting video, it's just me going for a day hike in Joshua Tree, but I think it's beautiful. It really highlights the contrast between the Chinese national parks that I was in and just a few weeks later being in an American national park.
These are the types of hiking trails that I love. Easy to forget how special some of these trails back here are. You take it for granted, but you're here. but it's so clean and isolated, yet very well maintained. I mean, these are great trails.
In November, I published 9 videos. I mean, it was a real grind. There were moments in November where I was pretty stressed. I mean, not getting enough sleep at night, you know, just worried about my lesson plans. But I also did a couple trips to Shaolan, to Gujin. I toured some old villages here in Zhongshan. I made my first trip to Dongguan.
There are many forest parks in Dongguan. Dongguan is a giant city, everyone knows this. And it's one of the 5 dragons of the Pearl River Delta. I've been to all of them except this one. This is my first time in Dongguan.
In December, I posted 12 videos. By far my most successful video of all time has been my Aquaman review. Of all the videos that I did, a movie review. Now there's a reason for this, of course. Aquaman came out here in China 2 weeks before it got released in the States. And all of the reviewers on YouTube were actually banned from posting their reviews until like a week before the movie came out in the States. So I had a 1-week jump on almost the entire world. Maybe 1 week I had a monopoly on Aquaman review. And my review was I'm just a fan of movies. I'm not a DC fan or a Marvel fan. I just want to have a good time at the movies. And so I think it was a very honest review.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. Aquaman sucks.
One thing is for sure, Aquaman doesn't suck. The hand-to-hand fight scenes were like Matrix-esque. They kind of go around and around and around, but very, very cool. But by far the best scene, in my opinion, was not under the water, but when they are fighting mantis in Italy on the rooftops. And that was just, I could watch that scene over and over again. It's a long fight scene that is just really kick-ass. Tons of fun to watch.
Thank you. I will do more movie reviews. I enjoy doing them, and I did my very first live stream just a few days ago. I hope to do more live streams in the future. 2019 is going to be another banner year, I think. I have a lot of traveling to do. I have just started booking my trip to Vietnam. I get about 5 weeks off from the college. And then after that, I may or may not go back to America. I haven't fully decided yet. I need to go. I would love to go. Soon after Spring Festival, I'll be starting my 2nd term at the college, which will be a more challenging term. I'll have about twice as much lesson planning as I did in the 1st term. So there's going to be some challenges there, no doubt. But I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I think it will allow me to grow more as a teacher. Summertime is going to be an interesting time because I don't know what's going to happen. I can take the months off and travel, or I can stay here in Zhongshan and work. I'll fill you guys in on that in the coming weeks as that opportunity develops more. Places in China to visit. I want to go maybe next summer. I'm going to go ahead to the north, see Beijing, Tianjin, Harbin, Xi'an, also Chengdu. Yunnan is on my hit list, Shangri-La, Lijiang, as well as Taiwan. I have a big trip that I'm planning in my head for Taiwan. Believe it or not, just in the last couple weeks, Japan has come onto my radar as well. Other places also that I'm thinking of traveling to include back to the Philippines, but this time Manila and the surrounding area around Manila. Australia, kind of want to do a tour of Sydney, Brisbane, and just drive around there, as well as the Northern Territory around Darwin. Bali has always been on my list, but much like Thailand, I think that the crowds would scare me away a little bit. New Zealand. Take a road trip in an RV around the South Island of New Zealand. It's going to be a fun 2019 for me, and I hope for all of you too. Stick around because I'm just getting started. Take care.